Imagine holding your breath for 1 minute. 2. Now imagine 18 minutes, not in water but in air with zero oxygen. For any mammal, that is a death sentence. But for one creature, it's just a pause. This is the naked mole rat, a wrinkly, saber-toothed, almost hairless resident of the deep earth that seems to treat the rulebook of biology as a gentle suggestion. It shrugs off the burn of acid. It possesses a remarkable shield against cancer, and it defies the very process of aging, living 10 times longer than it should. This isn't science fiction, it's a tour de force of evolution. A mammal that has solved some of life's hardest problems by becoming something utterly strange. To understand this animal, we have to leave our world behind. We go to the dry, sun-baked soils of East Africa, in Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia. But we don't stay on the surface, we go down, deep into a labyrinth of tunnels where the sun has never reached. Here, the air is thick, stale, and alien. Oxygen is scarce, and the carbon dioxide exhaled by hundreds of residents builds up to levels that would be toxic for us. The temperature is constant, a warm and humid 30 degrees Celsius. There is no day, no night, no seasons. This is the entire universe for the naked mole rat, and this oppressive, unchanging world is the chisel that has sculpted every bizarre detail of its existence. Down in the darkness, they don't live like other rodents, they live like insects. Their society is one of the very few examples of eusociality in mammals, a rigid caste system built around a single, dominant queen. She is the only female who reproduces. Everyone else in the colony of up to 300 individuals is a sterile worker or soldier, dedicating their lives to the collective. Small workers dig tunnels and find food. Larger, brawnier soldiers defend the colony from threats like snakes. And the queen? When she ascends to the throne, her body physically changes. Over months, her vertebrae actually lengthen, stretching her spine so she can carry enormous litters of up to 28 pups. She is the heart and future of the entire city. How do you build a city that can stretch for over a kilometer using only your face? You evolve teeth that are more like hands. A naked mole rat's enormous incisors sit outside the mouth, and they can move independently, like a pair of tiny, living pickaxes. The animal's lips seal tightly behind them, so it can dig continuously without ever getting a mouthful of dirt. But these teeth are not just brute instruments, they are exquisitely sensitive organs of touch. In the mole rat's brain, a huge portion of the sensory cortex is dedicated to processing information from these two teeth. In the absolute dark, they feel their way through the earth, distinguishing soil from stone, and stone from the precious roots they seek. And what do they eat down there? They are expert foragers for geophytes, large starchy tubers and roots that grow deep underground. When a colony finds a massive tuber, sometimes the size of a small pumpkin, they don't devour it. Instead, they treat it like a living pantry. They hollow out portions of it, eating from the inside, but carefully leaving the plant's structure intact so it can continue to grow. The colony will build its tunnels around this food source, sometimes relying on a single tuber for months or even years. The entire fortress city, with its dedicated nursery chambers, sleeping quarters, and even latrine rooms, is often anchored to a renewable feast hidden beneath the ground. Now, let's return to that impossible feat, 18 minutes without oxygen. In the lab, when the oxygen was cut off, the mole rats simply went still. Their metabolism crashed, their heart rate plummeted, and they entered a state of suspended animation. Then, when oxygen flowed back into the chamber, they stirred, stretched, and carried on as if nothing had happened. The secret is a metabolic trick thought to be unique to the plant kingdom. When their normal oxygen-dependent energy pathway shuts down, their bodies flood with fructose, fruit sugar. They flip a switch to a completely different metabolic engine, one that can burn fructose to produce energy without any oxygen at all. It's a tiny trickle of power, but it's just enough to protect the brain and heart from collapse until the air returns. Living in a crowded, poorly ventilated burrow means the air is saturated with carbon dioxide. When CO2 dissolves in body tissues, it forms carbonic acid. For any other animal, this would trigger a constant, agonizing burning sensation across their skin. But evolution has given the naked mole rat a very specific edit to its sense of pain. The nerve fibers that would normally scream in the presence of acid are effectively silent. They also barely register capsaicin, the compound that makes chili peppers hot. This doesn't mean they feel no pain. A sharp poke will make them jump. Evolution hasn't turned pain off. It has expertly muted a faulty alarm that would be ringing constantly in their unique home. Perhaps their most studied superpower is their profound resistance to cancer. The secret appears to lie in the goo between their cells. All animals have a substance called hyaluronan that lubricates tissues, but the naked mole rat produces a unique, supersized version of it. Its hyaluronan molecules are 5 times longer and far more plentiful, creating a thick, syrupy matrix throughout their bodies. This molecular jelly acts as a powerful tumor suppressor. As soon as cells begin to crowd together, the first step in forming a tumor, this gooey network sends a powerful chemical signal that tells them to stop dividing. It's a mechanism called early contact inhibition, and it shuts down cancer before it can even begin. While not a perfect immunity, it's an incredibly robust defense. If cancer doesn't get them, what about old age? This is where the naked mole rat breaks the most fundamental law of aging. For virtually every other mammal, including us, the risk of dying increases exponentially as we get older. This is Gompertz's law, but the naked mole rat simply ignores it. Studies of thousands of individuals have shown that their risk of death remains almost completely flat throughout their adult lives. A 20-year-old mole rat is no more likely to die in the next year than a 2-year-old. This biological heresy allows them to live for over 30 years, an astonishing lifespan for a rodent their size. They achieve this by having incredibly stable proteins and a slow, frugal metabolism, effectively putting the brakes on the damages of time. In a world of total darkness, sound is everything, and naked mole rats are incredibly chatty, with a rich vocabulary of at least 17 different calls. But the most surprising discovery is that each colony speaks its own unique dialect. A soft chirp used as a greeting in one colony will sound subtly different from the same chirp in a colony a kilometre away. Pups aren't born with this dialect, they learn it from their colony mates. And who is the chief tutor? The queen. Her calls are the most consistent, and she acts as the anchor for the colony's accent. When a queen dies, the colony's dialect begins to drift and become less coherent. This is more than just communication. This is a form of culture, learned and maintained, in a blind, subterranean rodent. The naked mole rat is a living bundle of paradoxes. It is a mammal that is functionally cold-blooded, an animal that, when stressed, adopts the metabolism of a plant, a rodent that has organized its society like an ant hive. From its cancer-blocking cellular jelly to its acid-proof skin and its age-defying biology, every one of its superpowers is an answer to a single question. How do you survive when the earth closes in around you? Under the immense pressures of heat, darkness, and bad air, evolution didn't just tweak the rules, it wrote a whole new book. And in doing so, it created one of the most wonderfully strange and resilient creatures on our planet. If you enjoy strange lives like this, you will like the rest of Faunary. We dive into creatures that bend the rules, from deep-sea lights to beetle chemistry. Subscribe and drop a like if this sparked your curiosity, and explore the channel for your next wonder. See you next time!